Hi everyone, Holly Pike here from Artistic Cutworks. Today I'm going to talk to you about making an etching template using your Cameo software, your Silhouette software. Basically, I was doing a mirror that was about 5 inches across, and I wanted to put circular text on there. So this is what I ended up with for my design, and I'm going to show you how I went about doing that right now. So basically, it's a 5-inch circle. So I'm going to open up a new document. I'll take my circle tool with a left click, hold, and drag. I'm going to make a circle that's about 5 inches across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I have to decide where I want my design. I want my design inside this outer circle. That's the outer edge of my mirror. So I want it inside my circle. So I could do it one of two ways. I could copy this and paste it and shrink it down. But let's try doing it with an offset, an internal offset, and let's just see what happens. So I'm going to hit offset, internal offset, and now I'm going to just increase this number here by using the slider to get my circle about where I think I want it. That's about where I think I want it. Next thing to do is to put the lettering where I want it. So let's go ahead and put the lettering in. That's about what's going to fit there. And let's go ahead and stretch this out so that it all fits in one line. Now I'm going to highlight it, change it to the font that I want it to be. Maybe you want it to be something fun. Maybe you want it to be this. Could be anything. I'm probably going to use something a little straightforward so that it etches nicely. This is what I'm going to use. Okay, so now we need to get this around that circle. Well, I think it's going to be too big. So let's make our font smaller. That's probably going to be too small. So you can highlight this number and type in a number you like, and it changes the font. So now I'm going to add a color to it just because, as I've told you before, I'm very visual, and I do better when I have a visual help. Okay? So now I'm going to grab this line of font right on this big plus sign, and when I hit that line, you see what happens? It goes around wherever I touch a line. Okay? So I'm just going to drop it there. But now I know that it doesn't fit. So this is an issue. So I'm going to double click on it, and I can move this in or out using this slider. I'm going to put it about there. So I know now that I have to put some spaces in here. So I'm going to use my arrow keys, and I'm going to put a couple of spaces, move it over here, a couple of spaces, putting 2 spaces in between each one to begin with. Okay, I think we need a little more, so we'll go back. Put another one there. This is the easiest way I found to do this. You could go and redo your lettering, but you have a little more control if you just kind of work with this. Okay, we need another 1 or 2. It's getting closer. Some of this you just have to go with it and see how it feels, when you're doing it. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to put one more there. Okay, I can kind of live with this. Okay, so that's where my etching is going to go, but I still think that this is going to be too big. I think it's going to be too big, so I'm going to just shrink it down a little bit and then recenter that circle. To recenter it, I'm just going to select everything, and let's see what happens when I go over here and say center it. Did you see how this center circle jumped into the center of that one? And that's really all there is, folks, to this. I can move it out a little bit so it's closer to the edge, if that's what you like. Now it's ready to go to the cutting machine, and oops, move something. So let's select the lettering and right click, and let's make a compound path. If we don't make a compound path, I'm going to remove this circle. I don't want this circle to cut. Now I'm going to select my text. I moved it a little bit. You have to be really careful not to move things. Right click and make a compound path. So now my font will stay with my design. So if your friend wants to cut this design and put it on a round mirror, she can, and she can keep the same font, whatever font you choose. So now it's actually ready to go and ready to cut. That's really all there is to doing circular designs. You would cut this out on a 631 vinyl, the temporary vinyl, and you're going to reverse weed, which means instead of peeling off the background, you're going to peel out the letters. And I have a video showing you how to do that for this etching project. So if you haven't watched that or you haven't seen me do that in class, please be sure that you watch that and you see how that's done. So that's really it for making this design. It's really not that hard. A little bit of fonts, a little bit of lettering, a circle, an offset, and you're good to go. Again, this is Holly Pike from Artistic Cutworks. Thanks for joining me.